It's just about getting up and doing it and finding the time, finding the people and making it happen.
You take control and you say, okay, this needs to be done, and you do it.
And you're never ready to start a business. You either do it or you don't.
Welcome to the Jibs Podcast, showcasing Detroit's movers and shakers, bringing you stories that reveal the gusto and grit that's long defined the city and its people. Together, we'll uncover the history and direction of the Motor City, one voice at a time. This is the Jibs Podcast with Jibran Ahmed.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 10 of the Jibs Podcast. I am here with Josh York of the York Project. Super excited to be here. We're here in his beautiful space in Pony Ride. Josh, can you kind of talk about who you are and what the York Project is?
Who I am? How deep you want me to go into that?
You can go as deep as you want.
I'm Josh York. I founded York Project. It's we call ourselves a social streetwear brand out of Detroit. We've been a one-for-one company for the past 5 years, and in that, everything we sell, we make a donation to homeless shelters. We've donated around $100,000 of in-kind goods, so whether that's hats, gloves, socks, underwear, tampons, that kind of a thing. And we've donated in 21 cities nationwide. And we're shifting our model now that we're here in this facility. Instead of just being one-for-one, buying wholesale clothes from Asia, printing Detroit on it, and selling it to benefit people locally. We actually want to be hiring people from local shelters to actually make clothes in this facility and actually become a true made in Detroit brand, because that doesn't really exist yet for this kind of apparel.
Absolutely. And how did you get to the point where you wanted to start this company?
To be honest, I was 19 and I was going to community college and living at home, and I was bored because all my friends were away and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I found a hobby, and that was sewing and screen printing, and found a hobby that I could make money at, and selling my screen prints and my designs, and actually doing printing work for other people as well. But it was just kind of something to fill my time that I found out I really liked and wanted to pursue.
Yeah. Did you know about screen printing or anything about apparel beforehand?
Can I jump off camera for 2 seconds?
Yeah, go.
Probably shouldn't show this, but this is going to be exclusive to this podcast.
Cool.
So I actually used to make these t-shirts.
Fun-sized bananas.
They were all kinds of different, but this is based on the Chiquita banana sticker.
Yeah.
I used to make all my own different ones, some not so appropriate ones for school, but I used to sell these in middle school and high school. And this is just an iron-on. I would buy it at Michael's. My mom would help me. I'd print it off, make a design on PowerPoint, print it off, and iron it onto a shirt. And I've been selling those since I was young. And so I always had an interest in apparel and clothes and making clothes. And once I got to college, I stepped it up from just iron-ons to a screen press. And so I didn't know how to do it, but I taught myself with YouTube, and it was something I was passionate about and figured it out.
When did you figure out that this could be a viable business?
I still don't know if it could be a viable business.
Really?
The apparel industry and retail is really tough.
Yeah.
But I think for a big thing was when I got to Michigan State. So I was at community college. I did this for a year, and then I went to Michigan State the following fall. And that was when I got introduced to some of the people there and the entrepreneurship group, and they kind of really helped me take it from, one-off sewing hats in my kitchen or my door or my apartment in college late at night to, these are some suppliers you should look at. This is how you streamline your process. This is how you build a web store, and really kind of turn it more into a business. And then from there, it kind of just slowly snowballed and led us to where we are.
So how many years has it been?
It's been about 5 years and 4 months so far.
So 5 years is a good amount of time to run into some, substantial challenges along the way, and obstacles, and also a lot of lessons learned. What are a few of the big challenges that you ran into, starting this apparel business in Michigan?
So people talk about, or I always ask about big failures or challenges, and I think it's just because I'm an optimistic person, but can't really think of too many monumental failures. And challenges, every day is a challenge. There's always something that's coming late, or making sales, or finding talented people. There's a lot of challenges, but I kind of look at them as fun opportunities, because I don't know, I don't get too into that, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I'd say the biggest thing is just obviously making sales, and throughout college a big challenge was finding time to run the business. Right. I kind of put things on hold when I would take an internship out of state or lived in Germany for a little while. I just kind of quit the business and I was able to jump back in. So like actually keeping it going and finding the time to do that was tough. And then now a big thing is like finding talented sewers. So we want to produce garments in Detroit, but there's really not an infrastructure of talent, or the good people are already employed as elsewhere. So it's kind of hard to find that.
So, I mean, it's one thing having a business that's purely for profit, but obviously you have this social aspect to your business. And that, for a lot of companies, can be challenging because, like you said, finding talented sewers or just finding the right thing that you're passionate about. So how did you start incorporating the social part into your business, and why are you particularly passionate about that?
I think we started, so some companies it's very clear that they're doing a company and then they decide they want to give back. Honestly, originally I was going to call this the Detroit Hat Project, where I was going to give 1-for-1 beanies to people in Detroit, and it was going to be a project, a nonprofit, or just a small little effort to make a difference for a little while. And as I started doing it, I realized hey, we can do this profitably. We found out, we discovered a giving model that works profitably and is able to give what we have decided on, and it's just, to me, like a natural thing. Like, I was raised in a way that when you have good fortune, you give some of that back to those that are a little less fortunate than you. That's just like how you live your life. And this was just a natural thing. When I had this thing going that was making money, it just made sense to me to find a way to incorporate giving in that.
I think that's great because a lot of businesses feel like doing that would hurt their bottom line or like stunt their growth.
Yeah.
Have you found that to be true at all?
Cash is tight right now.
Yeah.
Now we have rent here, and that's hopefully a couple other places in the coming months. We're gonna have to be paying monthly rent, and there's all the time where our finance guy is like, hey, we have to make these, take out the money for these donations. That's gonna cut our bank account in half, and because we let them stack up, and then once we get to a certain amount, we go make the donations. But it's definitely another thing to think about, but it's not, I don't think it's something that would ever hold us back. Like, it's a part of who we are, and we know that certain amount of dollars is earmarked every sale, and that's just kind of how it is.
Absolutely.
And everyone on our team and externally and internally has really been on board with that. Like, that is who we are, and I wouldn't say it holds us back at all. It's just a different way to look at things.
Yeah.
It forces us to be more creative in other areas that we can make up that.
Absolutely. What are some creative things that you guys come up with?
Oh boy. Nothing, no specific initiatives or anything, but just like we have to just be a little smarter with where we spend our money, because some of that money is going to, we're giving some of that money. So instead of, I don't know, throwing an office party or a team party,
right,
like we maybe have to be a little more creative. All right, here's an example. Instead of going downtown and going out with the team, we'll go to Mexican Town. It's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
We can have a great time. Just being a little more creative, it forces us to find those opportunities to save money, and because that money is not there for those kind of things. We haven't done that yet, but that's my plan for the summer. We're taking the interns and everyone to Mexican Town. I'm buying tacos.
That's cool. Keeping it local, man.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. It's a block away.
All right.
I don't know.
What Detroit's this hot topic for a lot of businesses outside of the city or people interested in the city. They're coming in. A lot of people from the suburbs are interested in being more involved in the city, starting a business here. What kind of advice would you have for young people or anybody looking to start a business in the city? What kind of advice would you have for them?
My advice for anyone trying to start a business or anything is just start doing it.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait. Just that you're never gonna have a better time than right now, especially with like the economy and everything is in your favor right now, especially in Detroit too. There's so much money and resources going into people starting businesses, and like there's a lot of opportunity. So just start doing it. But it's scary. Like, it was one thing for me to. It was a big leap to like come here and open this, and this is like the most low risk building and situation we could have been in. But from being in my parents' basement in suburban Detroit like for 5 years, and then taking a leap to take out rent in Detroit was like a big thing. My mom still hates the idea of it, but she doesn't hate the idea of it. She just doesn't like that I'm here till midnight. And but yeah, it's there's no time like the present. Like, just go for it. What's the worst that's gonna happen?
Yeah, absolutely. There, I guess you kind of touched on it already. You know, there's a stigma about being down here, especially for like older generations.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do your parents feel that way at all?
oh, they feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I first moved down here, my mom would text me like, "Are you okay?" It'd be like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. "Are you okay?" Like, what's going on?
Like all the time?
Yeah, all the time. But I think like with time, and especially like showing by example that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're doing great things here. We're not in a dangerous area. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
And,
The more that they
yeah.
come down and experience it themselves, the more they see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's actually a really cool spot.
Exactly.
My parents were talking about that. Sorry if I'm going
No,
off
no,
script
go.
here. We went to a dime store. My sister and I took my parents there on New Year's Day, and my dad was like, I didn't know this stuff existed. Like, if it weren't for our young kids, we would have never experienced all these cool things in the city. We took them to Bobcat Bonnie's the other day,
Yeah.
and they were loving that. And like, they're kind of their eyes are getting open to all the cool stuff that's happening. Because again, the older generations might not come down here and try it if there's not someone to push them to do it. So
Exactly. Which, I guess from a business perspective, that's a huge untapped market,
yeah,
is showing people that ability.
hitting those baby boomers,
Hitting those baby boomers, man.
enticing them downtown.
I mean, they're the ones that got money.
I mean, more money than I have.
Yeah. And I think like those are the people that you want to be able to convince to invest in your business.
Yeah.
And show them that Detroit's the place to be.
Yeah, and that's a big thing we're trying to do. I don't know if you had this scripted too, but we're trying to do some crowdfunding and then potentially take on investors in the coming months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly it, is like hitting those people that are in the suburbs that want to get back involved in Detroit or want to, you know, find a way to make a difference, but
Yeah.
maybe they think they're past their prime and they can't do a business. Like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, be part of what we're doing. We're doing something that we believe in and we think is really cool, and we have opportunities to get involved.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. There's like two. I've encountered two ways of thinking about the city, and in terms of entrepreneurship. So one is, you know, I come to the city. I'm trying to start a business, but what I've found is that the gatekeepers of the city, a lot of the people who have the resources, don't want to share those resources,
Yeah.
or are very protective over what they've done in the city and don't want to share that. But then there's another camp where it's like, you know, Detroit's so collaborative. It's not like another city where people are protective. People here actually want to share what they're doing,
Yeah.
and want to work together. What have you found to be true?
I could not agree with that more. Like,
Yeah.
there's a very specific, I don't want to call it a divide, but like I agree with you 100%. There's that group of people that kind of runs everything, and it's kind of tough to break into, but I'm lucky enough that we found our way into the other side,
Yeah.
and that's why we're here. We've kind of hit that group that is collaborative, and I don't know, that's an incredible, I don't even want to say I'm part of the group, but like, just we're meeting some of the most amazing people, and like, so many people are willing to help out, and I'm really glad that we've gotten to that point where people will do anything to help you grow, and because they know it helps them ultimately too.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some things that you are working on currently that you're excited about?
The thing I'm most excited about is our Detroit Made t-shirt. We're hoping to have that out by June, a line release, but we're cutting and sewing it right here behind us. I've been prototyping them. I've been wearing the t-shirts around.
Yeah.
There's still a couple little parts I got to figure out, but I just think that's going to be a really cool product for us, because again, it doesn't exist. Like, you can't buy a shirt made in Detroit, and
Right.
and hopefully by this summer we'll be selling it in 3 or 4 different places, and employing Detroiters to make it.
How do you, actually, something I was wondering is, how do you come up with the design? How do you figure out the right colors and like the fabrics like we were talking about earlier?
Well, I guess there's no right fabric or right design. It's more just like what I like and what our team likes. I'm lucky to have an incredible group of people on our team that really is into what they're, you know, it's really strong at what or really good at, what am I trying to say? They're really good at their specialties. So,
Right.
like, one guy is crazy into fabrics and you know, higher end brands, and he kind of knows what he likes. And like, I think that we have a pretty fashionable team, and like if they like it, that's a good thing. That means other people are going to like it too. So we kind of just play off of those different things, and then find stuff that we like and get something that is close, but then it's in our own handwriting. So our graphic designs, there's always inspirations from different things. Something that's really big to me is traveling. Like, there's so many things that are going on in different parts of the country, or more so the country for me. I don't get international anymore, but that people are doing really well here that it's not happening in Detroit, say. And I really think it's cool to be able to take bits and pieces of that and take bits and pieces from what's happening over here and put it into your own handwriting in your own city, and it can be really big. So try to do a little bit of that, and whatever else happens along the way.
One question I like to kind of end on is why Detroit? What makes this place so special?
For me, I'm from here. I'm from Livonia, which is like 20 minutes west of where we're sitting right now. And I grew up coming down to Detroit for Tigers games, Red Wings games. When I was in college, I used to play in a band. We would play at St. Andrews Hall. I used to teach tennis at Detroit Golf Club, so I just spent a lot of time in different parts of the city and in different ways. Now I'm here for the business. I work for the Red Wings. I've been in a lot of different parts of the city and different types of groups, and it's home first of all, but this is probably a cliche answer, but the people are just incredible. Kind of like you touched on earlier. There's so much collaborative spirit, and people just want to help out each other, and people are ready for Detroit to come back, I think, and kind of tapping into that and being part of that is like the coolest feeling ever.
Absolutely. For people listening and people watching, where can they find you if they want to get in contact with you?
The best starting place for that would be our website, which is yorkproject.com. There's contact form on there. That'll lead you everywhere, social media, whatever. We're pretty responsive across all channels, but it's a good starting place.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Is there any last words that you have or anything else you want to say?
I'm going to round it out with our slogan, and that's be the change.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Go be the change yourself.
Cool, man. Be the change. Till next time, stay tuned.